When creating obstacles for courses, we want to make sure that the obstacles get progressively harder. This is to ensure that all kids are able to do the first third of the obstacle. There are certain case scenarios, like with devil bars, that you can't do this when it is a continuous repetitive motion. In all other instances where you can customize the obstacle, we want to make sure that the obstacles get progressively harder. With this lache lane, for example, the first lache is a 2-foot lache, followed by a 3-foot lache, followed by a 4-foot out, 1-foot down lache. If the student can complete this obstacle, they can also punch it off their punch card. Ideally, we want one upper body obstacle, one full body obstacle, where you're using both hands and feet at the same time in a situation like this, where I'm going from an upper body obstacle to a lower body free, or something where I'm using all 4 limbs at the same time, like a spiral wall or a body prop, and a lower body obstacle. We understand that space can be limited, however, so if you don't get these ratios perfect, that's completely okay. We want to at least make sure that there's 2 upper body obstacles and 1 lower body obstacle. That's the ratio we typically go with. We also want to make sure that there is no obstacle that is way too easy or way too difficult. How do we know if an obstacle is way too difficult? Well, we want to use our punch card as a guide for the upper level of difficulty. We don't want to put a lache that's bigger than 4 feet out, 1 foot down. We don't want to make a balance obstacle that is harder than our balance beam. We don't want to make an agility that is harder than our striders. And we don't want to make any grip obstacle that is harder than our pegs. We also don't want to make an obstacle that is any more technical than our ring toss. For making an obstacle too easy, we just don't want them to be doing steps or a ladder. That would be too easy. We want to give them an obstacle that will teach them something. It doesn't need to be super difficult, but we don't want it to be a walk in the park either. As always, make sure that there is room for an exercise station. We typically do 3 stations. Therefore, we want one station to have an upper body exercise like push-ups. We want to have one station that has a core exercise like sit-ups, and we want to have one station that has a lower body exercise like squat jumps. All obstacles should take around 10 to 15 seconds to complete. Any less than that, and you will cause bottlenecks on future obstacles. Any more than that, and the kids will get really tired really quickly. The 10 to 15 seconds is the sweet spot for creating a great yet challenging obstacle. Now that you have gotten a bit of a better understanding on the concepts on how to make a course, let's go through some specifics. First, you can always employ an obstacle from the punch card to be in a course. For example, things like devil steps, devil bars, balance beam, laches, rings to cannonball, ring toss, pegs are all valid options to be on a course. But we don't want to just do items on the punch card. That would get pretty boring pretty quickly. So what about some other concepts? An important concept is the skill of traversing. So this obstacle right here, while not on the punch card, is super important for kids to understand their side-to-side movement. But that's not all. When one object moves, the rest of them move. This is a great practice for hand-eye coordination. Let's look at this challenging yet doable level 1 appropriate obstacle. Incredible. With that, even though they may not get an item off the punch card necessarily, they have gained incredible skill in their traversing and hand-eye coordination. Different variations can also combine different skills that are listed in the obstacles video. For example, you can combine a trampoline with a rock wall traverse, or you can combine precision landings with lache bars, let's say. There are countless possibilities on the things that you can combine and the levels you can play with in order to create new and appropriately challenging obstacles for your level 1 students.